And we're back on Open Line. We're glad that you're joining us this evening. A lot of you here calling in. We've got one of our most popular guests on Open Line this evening, Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm, answering your legal questions. If you do have one of those questions or comments, though, I highly encourage you to get online with us as soon as possible so that we can get to as many of those calls before the hour runs out. We are going to go right back to the phones right now. A lot of you on the line with us. I believe it is Hyrule that is on the line with us. Hyrule, good evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Hi, Chuck. Hi, Mr. Kennedy.
Hi.
I have
Good
a
evening.
comment. I was wanting to know, since on Memorial Day, the Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts weren't able to, they were canceled, putting flags on veterans' graves. And the Boy Scouts filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And neither one, the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts, were allowed to put flags on the graves at Veterans Day. And I was wanting to know, is there any way possible, could they vote since they were mistreated, not allowed to put flags on the graves? And I want to get y'all's opinion. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for asking the question. You know, the veterans in this country, we all owe a great sense of gratitude to them. And it bothers me anytime that someone takes steps to restrict, and I'm not really sure the circumstances of why they asked the restrictions on the veterans, whether it was COVID or other reasons. The truth of the matter is we have the rights in America to do a lot of things. The government, now we're talking all these things, they're going to shut us down. We were able to have our Veterans Day parade here in Clarksville. I rode my horse, carried the flag, and I've done that for years. I love to be around the people. I love the freedom that we get to express. And I'm the first to scream and yell for the US of A and be very patriotic about it. And I thank you for bringing it to the attention of the listeners tonight. You know, the Boy Scouts are under fire. There's millions and millions of dollars that have been sued for. In fact, when these allegations first arose, the lawsuits came in. They thought the only way that we can save this or any assets is to file bankruptcy. So they're going to allow them to make their claims, and then they're going to sift through there and see if they can pay so much money to these various claims to try to settle, or if it's bankrupted and destroyed forever. So we're both sensitive, but that's exactly what's happened. And so I don't really know how to fully understand. Of course, you know, the Boy Scouts have never seen that before. But for any of those who go out, whether it's the Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, the Brownies, or any other organization that takes the time to put those flags on there, I salute you. I congratulate you. I support you. And I love people to always be very grateful for the men and women who serve. I have the privilege. I organized the largest military support rally during the Persian Gulf War in Clarksville, Tennessee. We're right outside the 101st. Rode the White Horse, carried the American flag. And when I got off that day, they presented me a letter that was faxed to my law firm. And it was to the men and women of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, the wives, sons, and daughters that were overseas. And it was signed from President George Bush. One of the most memorable occasions in my life. I said, wow, here we are in Clarksville, Tennessee, carrying the American flag, and the President of the United States sent it to me, Kevin Kennedy, and I cherish that moment. Thank you for the question. Always keep that at the forefront. Believe me, if we don't protect our rights, remember those who did, they'll be gone. God bless you, and God bless America.
All right. Thanks so much, Kevin. And Hyrule, thank you so much for calling in with that comment. We appreciate that. Right back to our lines. Sandy's on the line with us. Sandy, good evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Question.
Go ahead.
Yes. My mom, there's 6 children, and she owns a house. And we let one of the daughters be a caregiver of the house, of our mother. And what happened was we went to a lawyer, and he wrote up papers saying that she, we agreed that she could get the house if something happened to the mother. Well, something didn't happen to the mother. Something happened to the daughter instead. And she died 2 years ago. So the mother is still alive. So wouldn't the house go back to her, revert back to her, or does it go to her siblings? I mean, her children.
Okay, here's what we have to look at. Was that done in an estate? Was it done in a trust? Was it done in a will? Was it done in a deed? We've got to look at the documents. And you say, well, we don't have, if it was a deed, it'll be recorded at the registrar's office. Go find it. Now, people can give life estates. For instance, I can say to Chuck, I'm going to give you this house out here for your lifetime. And then the remainder goes to your children. We can do that. And so, quite frankly, if I died, that's the way it's going to run. If he died, his life estate's over and it goes to the remainder. There's many, many things that people can do. So I thank you for this question so we can evaluate the options. We are seeing problems all the time at the law firm where a mother leaves 8 children a piece of property. We had one, and the one child goes and sells all the timber. Well, that wasn't fair to the others. So if it's not fair, you can always go to a court of equity and say, that person needs to do an accounting, that person needs to pay this money. And remember, if you have an estate, someone dies, there's an administrator or an executor. They're put in a fiduciary responsibility. They have to make an accounting. If they take those funds and act like they spend them any way they want to, they can be held responsible. Civil liability. So when you take on a fiduciary responsibility, then that carries with some liability. So look at the documents and then make the decision.
All right, Sandy, we appreciate you calling in this evening. We're going right back to our lines. We're busy here. Jim is on the line with us. Jim, we're glad that you've joined us. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin, real quick here, was involved in a 4-car accident, was rear-ended. Coming up on the year of the anniversary, I had some little bit of physical problems with it. Gathering all my paperwork, sent the paperwork to the insurance company, directly to them, both electronically and also by registered mail. And then a couple of days after what I want to look at, the end of that 1-year period, I get a letter from them that said, we never received anything, so we will not consider this claim. It's been a couple of months. Is that something that I should have gone ahead and possibly filed legal against them before the end of that time, or is it just is it on out the door?
Okay, I'm glad you called. I'm sorry about your circumstance, but insurance companies, you lived it. This is your life. That's why we're telling the story here tonight. They'll say, yes, send it to me, send it to me, send it to me. Guess what? They lead you on past your 1 year. Then the next correspondence you get, your claim is over because you didn't file a lawsuit with the statute of limitations. One of the things I want to tell the public is, and a lot of people say, well, I don't want to get a lawyer. I think it'll be a small claim and I'll just negotiate with the insurance company. That's always a bad decision because they can get you just like this. They could even say, hey, okay, we got it settled. I'm sending you $10,000. You say, great. Well, the $10,000 never comes. You call them back. You're on the voicemail. And then the 1 year runs. You said, hey, we had a deal. They say the statute ran. So many times you talk to the insurance, they will not even give you a name. I like to ask for people, who are you? I'm sorry, we can't give that information out. It's why it shouts. Let's get a lawyer. It's really hard. It's not easy for the Kennedy Law Firm team. We do it every day. We are skilled at trying to handle personal injury cases. But it's all that we can do. The insurance companies, they just draw down, and then what are you going to do? So you use your best judgment. One thing that makes insurance companies settle is so much the fear. And I want to jump this in there. I'm sorry that happened to you, but it's a lesson for all of us to learn. You know, the insurance company, if you have a bad wreck, they're going to be on you with their adjusters and say, can we take a tape recorded statement? I'm telling you, you ought to say, I can get back to you and get a lawyer. That lawyer can assist you because what you say can be and will be used against you. We see car wrecks all the time. They talk to them the next day. They said, well, I wasn't really hurting. I'm not a baby. They say, okay, injuries were minor. They tape you. Then all of a sudden you get all kinds of problems. You go to the doctor and these things are discovered. They'll use your tape recorded statement against you. So I'm so sorry to hear what happened to you, but thank you for making the call in and trying to teach and help somebody else.
Absolutely.
That's one of the greatest things about Channel 5, just trying to help people and share this knowledge. I want to share it. You want to share it. No one wants to go through what you went through.
There you go. Jim, we do appreciate that call this evening, and we're glad that you're watching. We've got about 2 minutes left. Vernon, we have you on the line with us. If you can get that question in as quickly as possible, we'd appreciate it. Go ahead. You're on the line with Kevin.
Okay, Kevin, question. First, I want to congratulate you on your comment about the veterans, because I'm a veteran too, okay? So, moving on with that, I had a wreck in Aaron, Tennessee, a motorcycle wreck. The lady was not charged with the accident. It was not my fault, by the way. She made a left-hand turn right in front of me. I had a lawyer in town.
Got about a minute, Vernon?
Beg your pardon?
I've got about a minute. I just want to make sure you get your question in.
So anyway, I actually should just call your office. But anyway, make long story short, everything had a cap on it. And so my wife died in this accident, and everything had a cap on it, and she wasn't really part of it because she died almost a day later, okay? I don't understand the whole thing. That's the whole point. And I was not in the hospital for almost 2 months and didn't understand what was going on. It took me years here. I still don't understand what's going on. You know what? I'll just call your office if you don't mind.
That'll be fine.
Absolutely.
God bless you. I'm sorry to hear about that. But it's also a good lesson for those, if you're involved, go see the lawyer immediately.
Kevin, going to jump in. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll wrap up the show for this evening.